Captain Lee Ji-won stood on the bridge of the UHS Dauntless and watched the stars through the main screen. Her ship was small compared to the massive battleships back home, but it was fast and deadly. The Dauntless had been patrolling the outer edge of human space for 3 months now. It was quiet work, but Ji-won knew that quiet never lasted long in space. Lieutenant Commander Park Min-ho sat at his station, fingers dancing over the tactical display. His job was to watch for trouble, and today he found it. The sensors started, beeping, soft at first, then louder. Min-ho looked at his screen and his face went pale. "Captain," he said, his voice steady despite what he was seeing. "We have contacts, multiple contacts." Ji-won walked over to look at the display. What she saw made her stomach drop. Hundreds of red dots filled the screen, each one representing an enemy ship. She had seen large fleets before, but nothing like this. "How many?" she asked. Min-ho checked his readings twice before answering. 847 ships, Captain. They are big ships, too. Much bigger than us." Chief Engineer Kim Na-young looked up from her station. She was young but had worked on ships since she was a teenager. "Captain, their energy signatures are off the charts. These are not peaceful ships." Communications Officer Yoon Jaemin turned in his chair. "Captain, we are getting a transmission, audio only." "Put it through," Ji-won said. The voice that came through the speakers was deep and harsh. It spoke perfect English, which meant these aliens had been watching humans for some time. "Small human vessel, this is Fleet Commander Vextar of the Velkari Empire. You are in space that now belongs to us. Your species has been marked for collection. Surrender your ship immediately and prepare to be processed." The bridge went silent. Weapons Officer Choi Hyun-soo gripped his controls tighter. Medical Officer Song Do-hyun stopped what he was doing and listened. Chief Gunner Han Se-won looked at her captain and waited for orders. Ji-won walked to the center of the bridge. She had been in bad situations before, but this was different. 800 ships against one. Any sane person would surrender or try to run. But Ji-won was not just any person. She was a human captain, and humans had a reputation for doing impossible things. "Jaemin, open a channel," she said. "Channel open, Captain." Ji-won spoke clearly and calmly. "Fleet Commander Vexatar, this is Captain Lee Ji-won of the United Human Ship Dauntless. Negative on your surrender demand. You are trespassing in human space. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences." The response came quickly, and it was laughter. Not just one voice, but hundreds. The entire alien fleet was laughing at her. Vexatar spoke again, his voice filled with amusement. "Little human, you face the might of the Velkari Empire. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. We have enslaved 50 different species. Your small ship cannot possibly threaten us. Surrender now, and we will make your death quick." Lieutenant Commander Bang Ji-soo, the intelligence officer, looked up from her console. She had been listening to alien communications, and her face was grim. "Captain, I am picking up chatter from their fleet. They think we are some kind of joke. They are betting on how long it will take to destroy us." Ji-won nodded. "Good. Let them think that." Min-ho looked confused. "Captain, with respect, how is that good? We are outnumbered almost 1,000 to 1. Ji-won smiled, and it was not a nice smile. "Because, Min-ho, they do not know who they are dealing with. They see one small human ship and think we are weak. They have no idea what humans are capable of when we are cornered." The alien fleet began to move. On the tactical display, the red dots started spreading out in a classic encirclement pattern. They were taking their time, confident in their victory. "Na-young," Ji-won called out. "How are our engines?" "Running at 100%, Captain. I can give you more if you need it." "Hyun-soo, weapon status?" "All weapons loaded and ready, Captain. Railguns are charged, missiles are armed." "Seo-won, are you ready to show these aliens what human weapons can do?" Han Seo-won grinned. "More than ready, Captain." Ji-won looked around her bridge. These were good people, all of them. They had trained together, fought together, and now they might die together. But they would not go down without a fight. "Listen up, everyone," she said. "We all knew this day might come. The day when humanity would face something bigger and meaner than us. Today is that day." She paused and looked at each of her crew members. "But these aliens made a mistake. They think because we are small, we are weak. They think because we are alone, we are helpless. They do not understand that humans have spent our entire history preparing for this moment. Vextar's voice came through the speakers again. Human captain, we grow tired of waiting. Surrender now, or we will take your ship by force. Jiwon walked to her command chair and sat down. Jamin, send a reply. Channel open. Commander Vextar, you on our ship? Come and take it. The alien laughter stopped. The communications channel went dead. On the tactical display, the enemy fleet began moving faster. Captain, Minho said, 50 ships are breaking off from the main fleet. They are heading straight for us. Jiwon leaned back in her chair. Only 50? They really do think we are weak. Orders, Captain? Minho asked. Plot a course toward the Kepler Nebula. Make it look like we are running. Captain, Bang Jisoo said, the nebula is 3 hours away at full speed. Perfect. That gives us time to prepare. Nayoung looked up from her station. Captain, what are we preparing for? Jiwon's smile got wider. We are going to show these aliens why you never corner a human. The Dauntless turned and began moving toward the nebula. Behind them, 50 alien ships gave chase. The rest of the fleet followed at a distance, confident that 50 ships were more than enough to handle one small human vessel. As they flew through space, Jiwon thought about her training back on Earth. The instructors had always taught the same lesson. Humans were not the strongest or fastest or smartest species in the galaxy, but humans had one advantage that no other species had. When everything went wrong, when death was certain, when there was no hope left, humans did not give up. They got angry. Minho, she said, start scanning those 50 ships. I want to know everything about them. Already on it, Captain. Their shields are strong but not perfect. Their armor is thick, but it has weak points. Hyunsu, can our weapons penetrate their defenses? Yes, Captain. It will not be easy, but our railguns can punch through their armor. How long until we reach the nebula? Jiwon asked. 2 hours and 40 minutes, Minho replied. Good. That gives us time to set up a proper welcome for our guests. The chase continued through space. The alien ships were faster than they looked, but the Dauntless was faster still. Jiwon had her crew run diagnostics on every system, check every weapon, and prepare for the fight of their lives. Captain, Jamin said, I am picking up more alien transmissions. They are very confident. Some of them are already discussing how they will divide up our ship. Let them talk, Jiwon said. In a few hours, they will have nothing to say. As the Dauntless flew toward the nebula with 50 alien ships in pursuit, Captain Lee Jiwon began planning the battle that would change everything. The aliens thought they were chasing a helpless human ship. They had no idea they were about to learn why humans were the most dangerous species in the galaxy. The 50 Valkyrie ships closed the distance slowly, like hunters stalking wounded prey. Captain Lee Jiwon watched them on the tactical display and smiled. They were being careful, which meant they were starting to think. That was good. Thinking. Enemies made mistakes. Minho, how much longer until we reach the nebula? She asked. 1 hour and 20 minutes, Captain. Perfect. Nayoung, I need you to start preparing some surprises for our friends back there. Chief Engineer Kim Nayoung looked up from her console. What kind of surprises, Captain? The kind that go boom. The Dauntless continued its flight toward the Kepler Nebula while the alien ships followed. Weapons Officer Choi Hyun-soo kept his eyes on his targeting systems, waiting for the order to fire. Chief Gunner Han Seo-won checked and rechecked her weapons, making sure everything was ready. Communications Officer Yoon Jae-min listened to the alien chatter. Captain, they are discussing their attack plan. They want to disable our engines first, then board us. They want prisoners, Intelligence Officer Bang Jisoo said. According to their transmissions, they have never encountered humans before. We are a new species to add to their collection. Jiwon nodded. That works in our favor. They will try not to destroy us completely. Lieutenant Commander Park Minho looked back at his captain. How does that help us? We are still outnumbered 50-1. Because, Minho, when someone is trying not to kill you, they fight differently. They hesitate. They pull their punches. We will not. The alien ships began spreading out into an attack formation. Jiwon could see their plan clearly. They would surround the Dauntless and hit it from all sides. It was a good plan against most enemies. Captain, Seo-won called out. They are moving into position. Should I target the lead ship? Not yet. Let them get closer. Medical Officer Song Do-hyun prepared his sickbay for casualties. He had fought in battles before and knew that even victories came with a price. Captain, medical bay is ready. Thank you, Do-hyun. Let's try to keep everyone healthy. The chase continued for another 30 minutes before the aliens made their move. The lead ship fired a warning shot across the bow of the Dauntless. The energy beam missed by a few meters, close, enough to make the point clear. Jamin received another transmission. Captain, they are demanding we cut engines and prepare to be boarded. Send a reply, Ji-won said. Tell them we decline their generous offer. The alien response was swift. All 50 ships opened fire at once, but they were aiming for the engines and weapon systems. They wanted to disable, not destroy. That was their first mistake. Evasive maneuvers, Ji-won ordered. The Dauntless twisted and turned through space, dodging the incoming fire. The ship was small and fast, much more agile than the larger alien vessels. Most of the shots missed completely. Na-young, deploy the first package, Ji-won said. From the rear of the Dauntless, a small object ejected into space. It looked like debris from a damaged ship, nothing important. The alien ships ignored it as they continued their attack. Package. Deployed and armed, Captain, Na-young reported. 5 minutes later, 3 alien ships passed close to the floating object. Na-young pressed a button on her console. The space around those 3 ships exploded in a brilliant flash of light and energy. When the light faded, 2 of the ships were drifting helplessly. The third was completely gone. What just happened? Came the panicked voice of a Velkari commander over the communications channel. Ji-won grinned. Jamin, respond to that. Channel open, Captain. That was a human mine. We have many more. The alien fleet formation wavered as the ships tried to avoid invisible traps. Their confidence was shaking. They had never fought an enemy that used such tactics. Deploy Package 2, Ji-won ordered. Another object shot out from the Dauntless, this one toward a cluster of 4 alien ships. They saw it coming and tried to shoot it down, but it was too small and fast. When it reached them, it split into dozens of smaller pieces that attached themselves to the alien hulls. What are those things? Vextar's voice demanded over the radio. Na-young answered by activating the devices. Each one was a small cutting torch that began burning through the alien armor. Within minutes, 4 more ships were out of the fight. Impossible, breathed one of the alien commanders. How can one small ship carry so many weapons? Hyun-soo looked at his captain. Permission to return fire? Granted. Show them what human railguns can do. The Dauntless spun around and fired. Its main weapon. The railgun launched a solid metal projectile at incredible speed. It punched through the shield of the nearest alien ship like it was made of paper, then tore through the armor and out the other side. The alien ship exploded. By the void, Vextar's voice came over the radio. What was that weapon? Ji-won decided to answer personally. That was a railgun, Commander. It fires solid metal at a significant percentage of light speed. Would you like another demonstration? The alien fleet pulled back, suddenly uncertain. They had lost 7 ships in less than 10 minutes to an enemy they thought was helpless. Captain, Minho reported, they are regrouping. The remaining ships are forming a tighter formation. Good. That makes them easier to hit. Seo-won, target the ship in the center of their formation. Targeting, Captain. Fire. Another railgun round streaked across space and obliterated its target. The explosion took out 2 nearby ships as well. Now the aliens were truly afraid. 10 ships destroyed, and they had not even scratched the human vessel. All ships, maintain distance, Vextar ordered his fleet. Use long-range weapons only. But the Dauntless was too fast and too agile. It danced between the incoming fire like a fighter avoiding punches. Every few minutes it would turn and fire another devastating shot, claiming another alien ship. Captain, Jamin reported, I am picking up communications from the main alien fleet. Commander Vextar is requesting reinforcements. How many reinforcements? Ji-won asked. All of them. The entire fleet is moving to intercept us. Ji-won looked at the tactical display. The main alien fleet was indeed moving toward them, all 800 ships. Perfect. Minho, time to the nebula. 35 minutes, Captain. And time until the main fleet reaches us? About the same, Captain. Ji-won stood up and walked to the front of the bridge. Around her, the crew worked with calm efficiency. They had just destroyed 10 enemy ships without taking a single hit. But they showed no excitement. They were professionals. "Listen up, everyone," she said. "In 30 minutes, we are going to face the entire alien fleet. 800 ships against one. The odds are not in our favor." She paused and looked around the bridge. "But those aliens have no idea what they are walking into. They think they are chasing a lucky ship that got in a few good hits. They do not know that every human ship is designed for exactly this situation." "What situation is that, Captain?" Song Do-yoon asked. "Being outnumbered, outgunned, and having to win anyway." The Dauntless continued toward the nebula with the remaining 40 alien ships following at a respectful distance. Behind them, 800 more ships raced to join the fight. "Na-young," Ji-won said. "How many more packages do we have?" 15, Captain, plus the special surprise you ordered." "Good. We are going to need them all." As the nebula grew larger, on the screen, Captain Lee Ji-won prepared for the greatest battle of her life. The aliens thought they had learned what human ships could do. They had no idea how wrong they were. The Kepler Nebula filled the view screen like a glowing wall of gas and dust. Captain Lee Ji-won had been here before, 3 months ago, when the Dauntless first began its patrol. She knew every asteroid, every gas pocket, every dangerous current in this part of space. "Captain," Lieutenant Commander Park Min-ho announced, "the main alien fleet will reach us in 12 minutes. "Right on schedule," Ji-won replied. "Take us into the nebula." The Dauntless plunged into the swirling clouds of cosmic dust. The view screen turned orange and red as they flew deeper into the phenomenon. Behind them, the 40 remaining pursuit. Ships followed without hesitation. Chief Engineer Kim Na-young worked frantically at her station. "Captain, the special packages are ready for deployment." "Not yet. Let them get deeper into the nebula first." The alien fleet burst through the outer edge of the nebula like hunters chasing a wounded animal. Fleet Commander Vextar's voice crackled. Over the radio, distorted by the electromagnetic interference. "Human ship, you have nowhere to run now. Surrender and we will make your deaths quick." Communications Officer Yoon Jae-min looked at his captain for instructions. Ji-won nodded. "Tell him we are not running, Commander. We are leading." "Leading to what?" Vexatar demanded. "To school. Today you learn why humans are dangerous." The main alien fleet reached the nebula just as the Dauntless disappeared into its depths. 800 ships spread out and began the hunt. They moved carefully, their sensors struggling with the interference. "Captain," Intelligence Officer Bang Jasu reported, "all alien ships are now inside the nebula. They have formed a search pattern." "Excellent. Na-young, deploy the gifts." All around the nebula, small objects began launching from hidden compartments on the Dauntless. They looked like pieces of debris, nothing special. The alien ships ignored them as they searched for their prey. Weapons Officer Choi Hyun-soo watched, his targeting display. "Captain, we have multiple targets. Which one should I hit first?" "The biggest one you can find." A massive alien battleship appeared on the screen, 3 times larger than any ship the humans had seen before. It was clearly Vextar's flagship, bristling with weapons and armor. "Target acquired," Hyun-soo reported. "Fire!" The railgun round struck the battleship's shields and punched straight through. The massive ship staggered but did not fall. Its armor was too thick. "Minimal damage, Captain," Min-ho reported. "That's fine. We got their attention." Every alien ship in the nebula turned toward where the shot had come from. They began converging on that position, but the Dauntless was already gone, hidden in the swirling gas clouds. "This is impossible!" Vextar's voice raged over the radio. "How can one ship hide from 800? Medical Officer Song Do-yoon looked up from his station. "Captain, shouldn't we be more worried about 800 ships hunting us, Chief?" Gunner Han Se-won answered before Ji-won could. "Doctor, they are not hunting us. We are hunting them." As if to prove her point, the Dauntless suddenly appeared behind a cluster of alien ships and fired 3 quick shots. 2 ships exploded instantly. The third limped away, badly damaged. "How are they doing that?" An alien commander screamed over the radio. "Captain," Na-young said quietly, "it's time." Ji-won nodded. "Activate the gifts." All around the nebula, the small objects that had been floating innocently began to glow. Within seconds, they exploded in sequence, creating a chain reaction that lit up the entire space. But these were not normal explosions. Each device had been designed to interact with the nebula's gases. The result was spectacular and deadly. Waves of superheated plasma rolled through the nebula like tsunamis of fire. Alien ships caught in the waves had their shields overloaded and their armor melted. The lucky ones were merely disabled. The unlucky ones were vaporized completely. "Status report," Jiwan called out over the chaos. 43 enemy ships destroyed, Minho reported. Another 67 badly damaged. And we're just getting started. Hyunsu, begin hit-and-run attacks. Target their weapon systems. The Dauntless became a ghost in the nebula. It would appear suddenly behind an alien ship, fire a precise shot to disable its weapons, then vanish again before the enemy could respond. The aliens fired blindly into the gas clouds, often hitting their own ships by mistake. "This is not possible," Vextar's voice was filled with panic now. "They are just one ship. How are they destroying my fleet?" Bang Ji-soo had been monitoring alien communications. "Captain, their morale is breaking. Many ships are requesting permission to withdraw." "Denied," Vexatar responded to his own fleet. "We will not be defeated by a single human vessel." But his ships were being defeated. One by one, the alien vessels fell to human tactics they could not understand. The Dauntless used the nebula like a weapon, turning the environment against its enemies. "Captain," Na-young called out, "I'm detecting massive structural failures in several alien ships. The nebula's effects are weakening their hulls." "The nebula is doing what?" Minho asked. "The gas is corrosive to their hull material," Na-young explained. "Their armor is dissolving." Jiwan smiled. "Of course it is. They build their ships for space combat in vacuum. They never considered fighting in an environment like this. But, Captain," Song Do-yun pointed out, "the nebula should affect our ship too." "It would, if we hadn't prepared for it." "Na-young, show him." The engineer brought up a display showing the Dauntless's hull. It was covered with a thin coating that shimmered in the nebula's light. 3 months ago, when we first came here, I had the entire ship coated with a substance that neutralizes the corrosive effects, Na-young explained. "It also helps us hide from their sensors." The battle raged for 2 more hours. The Dauntless struck again and again, always from unexpected angles. The alien fleet, once proud and confident, became a confused mob shooting at shadows. "Captain," Jamin reported, "I'm picking up a transmission from the alien fleet. Commander Vextar is ordering a full retreat." "Too late for that," Jiwan said. "Seo-won, target his flagship." "With pleasure, Captain." The final attack was devastating. The Dauntless emerged from the nebula clouds directly above Vextar's battleship and fired everything it had. Railgun rounds, missiles, and energy beams struck the massive ship from above. Its weakened shields collapsed, its corroded armor cracked, and its weapon systems exploded. The flagship listed to one side, atmosphere bleeding from dozens of holes. "Enough!" Vextar's voice was weak and defeated. "We surrender! Please, no more!" Jiwan stood up and walked to the communications station. "Jamin, open a channel to the entire alien fleet." "Channel open, Captain. Attention, Velkari ships. This is Captain Lee Jiwan of the United Human Ship Dauntless. You came to our space with 847 ships. You intended to enslave or kill every human you could find." She paused, letting her words sink in. "Look around you now. Count your remaining ships. Remember this moment. Remember that one human ship destroyed your mighty armada not through luck or superior numbers, but because you underestimated what humans are capable of." The tactical display showed the devastation. Of the original 847 alien ships, only 12 were still functional enough to fly. The rest were destroyed, damaged or drifting helplessly in the nebula. "I am going to let you live," Jiwan continued. "I want you to return to your empire and tell them what happened here. Tell them that humans do not seek war, but we will not run from it either." Vextar's voice came over the radio, barely a whisper. "How? How did one ship defeat an entire fleet?" Jiwan looked around her bridge at her crew. They had done the impossible, and they had done it together. "Because, Commander, you made the mistake of thinking that humans fight like other species. We don't. We fight like everything we love depends on winning, because it always does." Captain Lee Jiwan stood on the bridge of the Dauntless. and watched the 12 surviving alien ships limp away from the nebula. Around them, the wreckage of 835 vessels drifted silently through space. It was the largest naval defeat in recorded galactic history, and it had been accomplished by a single human ship. "Captain," Communications Officer Yoon Jaemin said quietly, "Commander Vextar is requesting permission to speak with you privately." "Put him through." The voice that came over the speakers was broken and defeated. "Captain Ji-won, I must ask you something before we leave." "What is it, Commander?" "How did you know? How did you know we would follow you into the nebula? How did you know our weapons would fail? How did you know everything we would do?" Ji-won sat down in her command chair and considered the question. Around her, the crew worked to assess damage and check systems, but she could tell they were listening. "I didn't know what you would do, Commander. I knew what I would do. I do not understand. When I was a child on Earth," Ji-won began, "I learned about an ancient human general named Sun Tzu. He wrote that if you know yourself and know your enemy, you will win every battle. But he also wrote something else that most people forget." She paused, remembering her training. "He said that if you only know yourself, you will win half your battles. Today, I only knew myself. I knew how humans think, how humans fight, how humans prepare. I did not need to know everything about you." Vextar's voice was confused. "How is that possible?" "Because humans assume that everyone is trying to kill us." Lieutenant Commander Park Min-ho looked up from his station. He had been thinking about the battle, trying to understand how they had won. "Captain," he said, "may I ask you something?" "Of course, Min-ho. When we first detected the alien fleet, you did not seem surprised. It was like you were expecting them." Ji-won nodded. "In a way, I was. Not them specifically, but someone like them." She stood up and walked to the main view screen, looking out at the debris field. "When humans first reached the stars, we found an empty galaxy. No other intelligent life anywhere we looked. Some people thought we were alone. Others thought we were first. But the military planners thought something different." "What did they think?" Chief Engineer Kim Na-young asked. "They thought the galaxy was empty because something had killed everyone else." The bridge fell silent as the crew considered this idea. "So, every human ship was designed with one assumption," Ji-won continued. "Someday something big and mean and powerful would show up and try to destroy us. Every weapon, every tactic, every piece of technology was built to fight an enemy that was bigger, stronger, and more advanced than us." Intelligence Officer Bang Jisoo looked up from her console. "That's why our weapons are so different from theirs." "Exactly. They build weapons to fight equals. We build weapons to fight gods." Medical Officer Song Do-yun had been quiet during the battle, but now he spoke up. "Captain, I have been thinking about their medical technology. When I scanned their ships, I noticed something strange." "What did you notice?" "Their medical bays are designed to treat injuries from energy weapons and impact damage, but they have no equipment for treating the kinds of injuries our weapons cause, because they have never fought anyone who uses kinetic weapons at those speeds," Ji-won said. Weapons Officer Choi Hyun-soo nodded. "Our railguns were a complete surprise to them. They did not know how to defend against solid projectiles moving at relativistic speeds." "But it's more than just weapons," Chief Gunner Han Seo-won added. "It's everything. The way we move, the way we think, the way we plan." Ji-won walked back to her chair. "Seo-won is right. Human military doctrine is built on one simple principle. Assume you are going to lose, then figure out how to win anyway." She looked around at her crew, these brave people who had just accomplished the impossible. Every human child learns about the Battle of Thermopylae, where 300 Spartans held off thousands of enemies. We learn about the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, where a few hundred fighters held out against an entire army. We learn about every time in human history when someone refused to surrender even when defeat was certain. But those were all defeats, Min-ho pointed out. Were they? The Spartans died, but they inspired all of Greece to fight. The Warsaw fighters died, but they showed the world that resistance was possible. Sometimes losing a battle is how you win a war. Vextar's voice came over the speakers again. "I do not understand human thinking. You speak of defeat as if it were victory." "Because for humans there is no such thing as acceptable defeat," Ji-won replied. "We either win or we make the enemy pay so much that they never want to fight us." Again. Bang Ji-soo had been analyzing the alien fleet's tactics during the battle. Captain, I have been reviewing their attack patterns. They were very predictable. How so? They used standard formation attacks, textbook maneuvers, by-the-book tactics. Everything they did was exactly what any military academy would teach. And that's why they lost, Ji-won said. They fought like they were taking a test. We fought like we were dying. Na-young looked confused. Captain, what do you mean? Human tactics are not taught in academies, Na-young. They are learned in alleys and back streets and desperate last stands. Every human weapon was designed by someone who was afraid. Every human tactic was invented by someone who was cornered. Every human strategy was created by someone who had already lost and was trying to figure out how to win anyway. She activated the tactical display, showing the battle from beginning to end. Look at what we did today. We ran away, which made them think we were cowards. We led them into a trap, which made them think we were clever. We used the environment as a weapon, which made them think we were desperate. But we were not any of those things. What were we? Song Do-yoon asked. We were human. And humans are the only species in the galaxy that considers dying to be just another tactical option. The crew stared at their captain as the meaning of her words sank in. You mean, Minho said slowly, that if necessary, we would have rammed their ships? If necessary, we would have set off our reactor and taken half their fleet with us, Ji-won confirmed. That is what makes humans dangerous. We are the only species that will choose mutual destruction over surrender. Vextar's voice came over the speakers one last time. Captain Ji-won, I think I understand now why your species survived when so many others did not. And why is that, Commander? Because you do not just fight to win. You fight like extinction is the only alternative to victory. Ji-won smiled grimly. Now you are beginning to understand humans. As the last alien ships disappeared into the distance, the Dauntless began the long journey home. But Captain Lee Ji-won knew that this battle was just the beginning. Word would spread throughout the galaxy about what had happened here. Some species would fear humans. Others would respect them, but all of them would remember that when 800 ships met one human warship, it was the 800 that retreated. 6 months had passed since the Battle of Kepler Nebula, and the galaxy would never be the same. Captain Lee Ji-won stood on the bridge of the newly rebuilt Dauntless, watching stars drift by through the view screen. The ship looked the same from the outside, but inside it carried the lessons learned from humanity's first major space battle. Intelligence Officer Bang Ji-soo looked up from her console with a satisfied expression. Captain, I have the latest reports from our monitoring stations. What's the word from the galaxy, Bang? 3 more Velkari client species have declared independence this month. The hegemony of Keth, the orbital cities of Vega Prime, and the mining guilds of the Tau Ceti system. They all cite the Battle of Kepler Nebula as proof that the Velkari Empire can be defeated. Chief Engineer Kim Na-young smiled as she worked on her modifications. Good for them. Nobody should have to live under slavery. Lieutenant Commander Park. Minho brought up the tactical display showing local space. Captain, the Velkari have established a 50-light-year exclusion zone around all human territory. Their ships turn around the moment they detect our presence. 50 light-years? Communications Officer Yoon Jaemin whistled. That's a lot of empty space they're giving us. It's not empty to them, Ji-won replied. It's a buffer zone. They're afraid of what other surprises we might have waiting. The truth was that humans were working around the clock to develop new technologies and tactics. Every shipyard in human space was building vessels designed with the lessons from the Dauntless battle. Every military academy was teaching courses on asymmetric warfare and environmental tactics. Captain, Jaemin said, we're receiving a priority. Transmission from Earth Command. Put it through. Admiral Chen's face appeared on the screen. He was an old man who had fought in the Mars Wars and understood what the Dauntless had accomplished. Captain Ji-won, congratulations on your promotion. Promotion, sir? As of today, you are Commodore Ji-won, and the Dauntless is the flagship of the new Deep Space Defense Fleet. Your mission is to patrol the Outer Rim and make sure that what happened at Kepler doesn't happen again. Ji-won felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. Understood, sir. What assets will I have? 12 ships to start, all built with modifications based on your battle reports. Each one is equipped with the latest human technology and crewed by veterans. Medical Officer Song Do-yun looked pleased. Finally, some backup for when things go wrong. When things go wrong again, you mean, Chief Gunner Han Seo-won corrected. Because they will. Admiral Chen nodded. The galaxy is watching us now, Commodore. Some species are curious about humans. Others are afraid. A few are even asking about alliance possibilities. And the Valkyrie? Ji-won asked, still licking their wounds. Our intelligence suggests they've lost control of nearly 30% of their territory. Client species are rebelling, tributary states are stopping payments, and their military is demoralized. Bang Ji-soo had been monitoring galactic communications networks. Sir, I can confirm those reports. The alien chatter we intercept mentions humans constantly. They call us the species that fights like the universe owes them something. Admiral. Chen chuckled. I like that description. It's accurate. After the transmission ended, Ji-won walked around her bridge, checking on her crew. These people had become family over the past months. They had faced impossible odds together and won. Na-young, what new toys do you have for us? The engineer's eyes lit up. Captain, you're going to love this. We now have adaptive camouflage that can make us invisible to most sensor types. Plus, the new weapon systems can reconfigure themselves based on enemy defenses. Impressive. What about communications? Jamin grinned. We can now intercept and decode most known alien languages in real time. Plus, we have quantum entanglement transmitters that let us communicate instantly with Earth Command. Excellent. Hyun-soo, how are the new weapons? Weapons Officer Choi Hyun-soo brought up his displays. The railguns are now 30% more powerful and can fire different types of ammunition. We also have something new called Smart Mines that can track and chase enemy ships. And our engines? Faster, more efficient, and nearly silent when we need them to be, Na-young reported proudly. As the crew discussed their improvements, a new contact appeared on the tactical display. It was a small alien ship, moving slowly and broadcasting what appeared to be a peaceful message. Unknown contact, Minho announced. Single ship, no weapons detected. What's their message? Ji-won asked. Jamin listened to the transmission. They're requesting permission to approach. They say they have an urgent message from the Galactic Trading Consortium. Put them on screen. The alien who appeared was unlike any they had seen before. It had blue skin, 4 arms, and large black eyes that seemed to hold ancient wisdom. Greetings, human vessel. I am Ambassador Keel of the Consortium. I bring a proposal from the civilized worlds of this sector. I'm listening, Ambassador. The galaxy has learned of your victory over the Valkyrie Empire. Many species are impressed by your capabilities, but they are also concerned. You have demonstrated that humans are very dangerous when threatened. Ji-won nodded. That's accurate. The consortium wishes to propose a treaty. We offer trade agreements, technology exchange, and mutual defense pacts. In return, we ask only that humans use their military abilities to protect peaceful species rather than conquer them. It was exactly what Earth Command had hoped for. Humans needed allies and trading partners as they expanded into the galaxy. Ambassador Keel, I will forward your proposal to my government. But I can tell you that humans have no interest in conquest. We only fight when someone tries to hurt us first. That is what we hope to hear, Commodore Ji-won. After the ambassador's ship departed, the bridge fell quiet. The crew was thinking about what this meant for humanity's future. Captain, Song Do-yun said thoughtfully, do you think we'll have peace now? Ji-won looked out at the stars and considered the question. For a while, maybe. But there are always predators in the galaxy, Doctor. Species that think might makes right. Species that believe the strong should rule the weak. And when we meet them, Minho asked, we'll do what humans always do. We'll show them why that kind of thinking is dangerous. Bang Ji-soo looked up from her console. Captain, I'm detecting multiple contacts on long-range sensors. Configuration unknown, but they're moving toward the border between human and Valkyrie. Space. How many contacts? At least 50 ships, Captain. They're not Velkari. Jiwan smiled and settled into her command chair. Well, crew, it looks like someone else wants to test human resolve. Orders, Captain? Hyunsu asked, his hand moving toward the weapon controls. Take us to intercept. Let's go introduce ourselves to our new neighbors. As the Dauntless changed course toward the unknown fleet, Commodore Lee Ji-wan reflected on how much had changed. 6 months ago, humans were unknown in the galaxy. Now they were feared, respected, and courted by dozens of species. But some things never changed. Humans were still outnumbered, still facing enemies with superior technology and larger fleets. The difference was that now the galaxy knew what happened when you backed humans into a corner. Na-young, charge all weapons and prepare the new defensive systems, Ji-wan ordered. Yes, Captain. Ready to show them what happens when they mess with humans? Always ready for that, Na-young. The Dauntless accelerated toward the unknown fleet, carrying with it the reputation earned in the Battle of Kepler Nebula. Behind it, the rest of the Deep Space Defense Fleet followed, ready to defend human space against any threat. In the depths of space, 50 alien ships detected the approaching human vessels and suddenly found themselves wondering if they had made a terrible mistake. Word had spread throughout the galaxy about what happened to the last fleet that underestimated humans. The galaxy was learning that humans didn't just fight to win. They fought like the survival of their entire species depended on victory. And, in a universe full of predators, that made humans the apex predator. Some lessons the galaxy was discovering were learned the hard way.